Let's start with this story. Search and recovery operations are continuing in parts of Durban. We check on progress in Umlazi, where a week ago members of the community had to assist the young and old cross non-existent roads. Most of the infrastructure in the area was washed away by the floods. eNCA reporter Lindokuhle Xulu is in Umlazi and he joins us now live. Lindo, I see there some of the damage still, quite evident in Umlazi. Give us an update in terms of infrastructure, but also the schools. How's it looking in terms of kids being able to go back to school, to all schools?
Well, some plans have been made in many areas when it comes to schools. There was almost an immediate response in terms of ensuring that schools are ready, some of them at least, to accept learners as they went back last week for the first time after the trail of destruction that was left by the floods. So we've visited some of the areas and we are seeing that there have been some plans with schools in terms of the fact that at places where there was no bridges, where they were swept away, we did see that the municipality had made a plan in terms of putting temporary road there. But right where we are in Mega City here in Umlazi, I can tell you that the trail of destruction is almost similar to many places that we have visited. Pipes that are leaking endlessly as government tries to sort out some of the destruction that has been seen by KwaZulu-Natal. Premier Sihle Zikalala updated the media as well as the people of KwaZulu-Natal yesterday that the progress is in fact improving in terms of responding to some of the damage here. They have obviously prioritized some areas to ensure that there is some form of movement when it comes to the important roads in KwaZulu-Natal. But this is the trail of destruction that remains when it comes to other areas. You can see just in terms of this path, how it was affected. Some of the bridges completely gone. The pipeline there is one of the infrastructure that we know is key in terms of delivering water and other services to people of KwaZulu-Natal. So these are some of the things that are currently being dealt with. On the other side, I can tell you that the work continues with some people that look like contractors that are on the ground trying to sort this out. In fact, the pipe that we were showing you earlier on is one of the pipes that we witnessed ourselves that it was scaled in terms of how long it is and what would be required to fix it. So according to Premier Sihle Zikalala, there's been a reprioritization of budgets from various provincial departments. We do know that in terms of the house human settlement, they are focusing on building those temporary structures when it comes to providing people with houses that had been displaced by the floods that remain in shelters. But in terms of infrastructure damage, you can see that it will take a whole lot more than temporary measures to actually try to fix this. But the Premier says that it's all systems go, the work is continuing, and this destruction is something that is being worked on around the clock daily to ensure that they return somewhat this place to normalcy, as well as other areas that have been affected like this.
And Linda, what are residents telling you in terms of, what promises government has made, and so far if they've seen any changes being affected?
Well, the problem about residents is that different residents from different areas would then complain differently, because what Premier Sihle Zikalala has told us is that while the work is continuing on the ground, there are other areas that will obviously not receive these services sooner, because of the fact that the destruction in many areas varies, but also because of the network of these systems, electricity as well, water as well as sanitation. So all of those things need to be taken into account when some residents are told about the ETA in terms of when is it expected for them to have the normal services that they would usually have. But I can tell you that other residents would tell you that they do not believe that government is acting speedily. They do believe that government could be doing more. But another hindrance for government, I believe, at this stage could also be issues of not having received that 1 billion rand that was supposed to be given to them after the national state of disaster was declared. Yesterday we caught up with Premier Sihle Zikalala asking him whether they've received anything from national government. They're saying that at this stage they have not. They've been using some of the provincial departments' coffers to actually try and sort out some of the things that are quite urgent in terms of recovering and rebuilding. But what they are saying is that they are continuing to engage with Treasurer, the National Treasurer, just to get a sense really of when will they be able to get those monies, because you can see on the ground that they are much needed budget. In fact, that 1 billion rand, according to Sihle Zikalala, is not going to be enough. He says that at least for now they are thinking it might be around 1.9 billion that they need to actually sort out the destruction in KwaZulu-Natal. So there are many issues still at play, but Premier Sihle Zikalala has promised and urged the people of KwaZulu-Natal to be patient as they are working around the clock to ensure that some basic services that are quite a need to some of their communities will be restored at some point.
All right, Lindokuhle Xulu in Umlazi and KZN. Let's leave it there for now.